Okay, this is day 130, Hillary's Henchmen. The first thing I want to say is this is not about being anti-Muslim at all. I would just remind all the viewers that I was the one who led the defense of Muhammad in the Portland Christmas tree bomber entrapment case that Andrew McCabe ran in 2010. That's how I got on his nasty list. So even though I'm Jewish, I stood up for that Somali kid because he was being framed. So I want to get that out of the way. What I am saying is this is political espionage, and you're using people on the House Permanent Subcommittee with access to top secret information. And what happens when that information starts flying around the world is this happens with the Karen Owens situation with widows. And that's all I'm trying to stop here. I'm just trying to stop a situation that ends in Americans dying overseas. This isn't. In the past, I've shown how Hillary's worked with Muslim Brotherhood to topple Libya and Syria, and now I'm showing how 5 different Awan brothers or Awan's operatives in the House Intelligence Committees are doing the same thing, are just as dangerous as hiring the Muslim Brotherhood to take over countries for you. So that's my point here. So I talked about Andre Carson yesterday, who sits on the House Permanent Subcommittee on Intelligence, and how the Imran Awan worked for him. Mr. Carson, you're in a difficult position as a politician because if you're Muslim and you've got a lot of money coming in from 28 different organizations, you don't know where it's coming from. For instance, one of the people who's giving him money was one of the unnamed or the unarrested 1993 World Trade Center bombers. There's 170 people that never were arrested and co-conspirators that were never arrested. It's hard to know that when all this money is coming in. But he does also sit on what's called the Emerging Threats Committee. And this is where this deals directly with like the FBI and the CIA and the Office of Director of National Intelligence. So this committee here would be hearing about the Yemen raid and various raids and so forth. So this is why it's so important that the 4 Democrats on this committee that gave the Awans top secret access. It's so important that we find out what days those burglaries were committed and what days those briefings were given. And here's where I encourage everyone in Washington: when you go to Starbucks, when you go to, you see a waiter, or you go out to eat, just start asking, did you hear about the break-ins? Did you hear about the break-ins? Do you know which congressman got broken into? If you work in any of those congressional offices, there's over 1,000 people that work on the Hill. Just start socializing it. Say, hey, when you go to Starbucks, just start talking to the barista and say, hey, did you hear about the break-ins, on such and such a day? We can work around the Capitol Police. You can't hide 20 break-ins and 20 server thefts and 20 hard drive thefts. Now, these 5 Awans that were involved in this had to get their visas from somewhere. They had to get their visas from some kind of Pakistan visa attorney. So we're going to also be looking into how the heck did they get visas and top secret clearances. There has to be a background investigation of all those. So all those papers need to come forward in this investigation. Again, this is Adam Schiff bringing everyone down. By trying to talk about Russia leaks, you're basically attracting attention to the House Permanent Subcommittee on Intelligence. So Adam Schiff's the one that's initiated all of this. Has the FBI been notified of the 20 congressional break-ins? I would assume by now they have, because thousands of people retweeted this yesterday. So, but remember, the 5 Awans, the 4 Awan brothers and the wife, had an external server, just like Huma, just like Hillary. We need to find that server. That server is going to be the treasure trove for the House Intelligence Committees. Not only the Intelligence Committee, but the Homeland Security Committee and also Foreign Affairs Committee. So, again, I don't want to belabor this, but this goes all the way back to 2004. The two of the Awan brothers go all the way back to 2004 with this Al-Attar, this guy who was involved in the intelligence sales to both Shia and Sunni. Okay, and he has a checkered past as a doctor of internal organs. Representative Spear here, Speier, Jackie Spear, she also is on the Emerging Threats Committee. There's two other ones. One is a guy from Chicago by the name of Ron Quigley, and the other guy's a guy from California, Dublin, California, is Swalwell. So I'll get to them in the future. But all of these people are being hired and were funneled in through Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So it's important that we get the dates of the crimes that were committed, all the break-ins, and then we also get the days of key key meetings of the Emerging Threats Committee, especially the date that this Yemen raid was discussed, because that's going to be the answer to the whole test. Okay, that's it for this morning. I just wanted to go over the Emerging Threats Committee. And thank you, everybody who's sent me information about Amjad Awan, who was with BCCI as well.